Hey guys, so welcome back to the candle channel, and today we're going to be reviewing the Honey Wildflower candle from Bath & Body Works, the 3 wicks 14.5 ounce. This is the new quote-unquote signature collection fragrance that is coming out for late summer into early fall. It has a beautiful like pressed, botanical pressed flower wraparound, as you can see there. And I also will briefly talk about the Honey Wildflower shower gel as well as a combo review. I was able to pick this up as a birthday reward, which is basically a free travel size item with any purchase. So I did redeem that, and so we do have the shower gel, which I have used right there. So I will also review and compare and contrast to the fragrance in the shower gel as well. So let's get into it. So notes on this read: crisp pear, fresh wildflowers, and sweet honey. And I've burned this one, I think, about 4 times, and that's what that looks like. It has white wax, and it has really the bigger, thick core wicks is what this one had. And yes, so when I burned the candle and when I smelled it on cold, it smells a lot. Very similar to if you mix Coco Shea honey and Coco Shea coconut mixed together. This is kind of what the candle smells like. And I was literally just smelling the Coco Shea honey and coconut, and I like literally put the 2 bottles together, and I was like, oh my god, it smells just like Honey Wildflower. I would say it leans definitely more towards Coco Shea honey for obvious reasons of this smelling is being a honey fragrance. But there is a little bit of a nuttiness in the candle that I get, but I think also it just generally has that type of like shea butter lotion type of feel to it. It just has like a sort of lotiony, creamy vibe is what I get with the fragrance. It's a very like mild, pleasant, light-hearted, bright, happier type of fragrance is what I get from it. It's very like quintessential BBW, but very, 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 very similar to Coco Shea honey. So if you miss that and want to kind of smell that, again, this is the like next closest thing to it. Once again, it's not exactly the same, but very reminiscent to that, and most certainly very reminiscent to just that like shea butter type of lotiony, creamy fragrance is what I get from it. So yes, that's pretty much what I get from it. The honey is like a creamy, pleasant honey. It's not as strongly and intensely like urine or pungent or sharp as like sweet honeybee or honey tangerine that we've had in the past, but most similar to like just the creamy, pleasant, light honey that you get from Coco Shea honey. There's a little bit of a like sweet, lighthearted floral backing to it. I was making comparisons to the Picnic Summer Daisies fragrance, which once again, it's not the same, but if you want to think of a similar, light, crisp, sweet floral that's a little bit clean, then that's kind of what this smells like. It's sort of similar as that Picnic Summer Daisies thing. It doesn't really come off so much as a fall fragrance. I could even see this in the spring, to be honest, but I guess it being honey, there's a little bit more of a warmth to it, so it's, I guess, a transitional fragrance from summer to fall, but it's not like overly heavy or anything like overly gourmand or cozy as you would imagine in the fall time. The main and major issue, and now this is going into performance, with this candle is that it is very, very, very light. And it was weird because I was smelling a little bit more on the first 2 burns, but the last 2 burns, it definitely got weaker. And this also burns very, very, very hot, and it soots like crazy if you don't trim it enough. So please, like, you have to definitely trim the nubs off of this, and I would trim it generously because this was just billowing smoke, and so it was insane. You can even, it probably won't be picked up on camera because the white balance is kind of crazy, but there's like black swirls that are also present in the wax as well because the soot is just very intense on this. It reminds me a lot of the burn of the Spiced Vanilla Cupcake, which that had the very similar, larger, thick core wicks that soot just like madness. So keep an eye on this in terms of sooting. But yes, the throw on this is very weak. I would say I could only smell it, but I could only smell it on the first 2 burns in a smaller room. So like if I had it in a really small room with lower ceilings, I could get maybe like all the way up to a 4, I would say. I could still smell it on the first 2 burns in a smaller room. I could smell it up to like a 4, so less than medium, definitely in the light range. Every time I put it in an open concept area, I could never smell it. I could only maybe get whiffs of it if I approached the candle. But like I was like sitting and working in this room with the candle going, and I could never really smell it, even though it was like right by me. So that kind of blowed. It was definitely like maybe a 2. It wasn't completely unscented, but there were light whiffs here and there. So it was definitely weak. But then on the 4th burn, I put it in like more of like a master bedroom size room, which isn't even a large bedroom, to be honest, like compared to like modern master bedrooms. And I still really couldn't smell it there either. It was still like maybe a 2. So I'm thinking maybe because it's burned so hot and sooty, maybe it's like burning off the fragrance oils in it. I don't know. But in any case, long story short, Open concept area, I couldn't smell it. I could only smell it in a smaller bedroom, but only on the first 2 burns, but then on the second burns, I could not smell it even in a master bedroom. So very, very light. And maybe only a medium in a small room towards the beginning of the candle. So the throw on this definitely takes a hit. And it's also strange that this has switched to an online exclusive tag online, even though I picked this up in stores. So I don't really know what the deal is there, but very, very light that I couldn't recommend it based on throw. If you just wanted to smell it on cold and just for like decor purposes, and Honey Wildflower was our favorite candle ever, and you just wanted to collect it to have the set, it is very pretty, so there's that. But on performance alone, I would say no. So that was Honey Wildflower right there. But objectively speaking, the fragrance isn't bad at all. It's just the throw is very light. Now moving on to the shower gel. I did use this yesterday, and that's what that looks like. This one, I believe, has the same notes that I just talked about. The shower gel, you can definitely pick up a lot more of the notes that are listed in here. I definitely actually get more of a juicy, crisp, wet, like dewy pear. A fresh pear is definitely more present in this. When I was using it as hand wash, the pear fragrance was actually what was left on my hands afterwards. On dry down, there was a nice, juicy, sweet, crisp, dewy pear. It really reminds me of like more of a springtime fragrance because the pear is so sweet and juicy and kind of similar to apple. That was not present in the candle. And it's kind of similar to like the dewiness of the green apple that I believe you get in Beautiful Day. So if you like Beautiful Day, this is kind of similar to that type of pear note. You of course get the honey in there as well, but you also do get a little bit more of the quote-unquote wildflower, and once again it's a little bit more similar to like that picnic summer daisies type of like springtime, clean, fresh, lighthearted, sweet floral is what I get from it. If you like fragrances kind of like First Bloom, those type of like springtime, sweet, lighthearted florals is what comes to mind when I smell the floral note in this. So basically you get that juicy, dewy pear, a little bit of a clean floral, and then finally you do get the honey in there as well. That gives it a little bit of like a natural sweetness, and a little bit of a coziness that could maybe take you into late summer and into fall. But the shower gel, all the notes were present, so I did appreciate that. It was fine in the shower, but once again, the dry down was not very present. I couldn't really smell too much. When I used it as hand wash, I could smell the pear note on my hands because it was very concentrated on my hands. But when I used it as an all-over body wash, the dry down wasn't too strong. I think it pretty much faded away like about a few minutes after I got out of the shower. So that was that. But yeah, so I think this is just another one of those cases like Hibiscus Paradise, where the Hibiscus Paradise shower gel is snatched. Oh my god, it's so strong. That stuff lingers on my skin for like hours and hours. You get the most beautiful like neroli orange flower floral note that dries down on Hibiscus Paradise. That's absolutely gorgeous. But then on the candle cleaner part of Hibiscus Paradise, it just kind of smells like grody, dirty coconuts, and you don't get those beautiful like neroli orange flower notes. And a lot of times like when you translate one fragrance oil into another form, especially because there's a lot of heat being applied to it and there's the whole science of wicking and candle making, that sometimes the full fragrance doesn't translate as it does in like a liquid form like this. So that might be the case here as well, where you definitely pick up more of all the notes that I just mentioned here, but this not so much. So that's probably enough to be said about Honey Wildflower. Let me know your thoughts on it down below. The fragrance is just kind of there. It exists. It's not objectively bad by any means. It's actually quite pleasant. The candle leaves a lot to be desired. It's just very weak. This is pleasant enough, but it's not very strong, and it just doesn't leave a lasting impression on me where I would like feel compelled to purchase it again. And that's pretty much my thoughts on Honey Wildflower. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.